Good evening. Good evening. This is Momentum Chat. I am your host, Majida Bay, and I am going to be introducing my co hosts in just a few minutes. So stay tuned. You're going to definitely want to tune into our conversation tonight. We're actually going to be talking about needs. All right. Are your needs being met? If you're listening in, like, share, let a friend know, and chat with us in the comments. We'll talk to you soon. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Momentum Chat. I'm Majida Bay, your financial conductor.
Kira.
Okay. And this is my co-host, Mr. John Epting, senior financial broker, 20 years of experience in the financial services industry, husband, father, and definitely a man of God. Welcome, John.
Hey,
How are you doing
good
today?
afternoon or good
Good
evening.
afternoon.
I guess this evening.
This evening now.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are, right? West
Yeah.
Coast this afternoon.
Still
It
morning
could
to
be late.
me. I mean, I still got clients to see after we're done with this. So
Yeah, man,
yeah.
always on the grind. So
Yeah. So
definitely
it's been a
appreciate
fun
you.
day. It's been a fun day.
Cool. Been able to help some folks today.
Yeah. And that feels really good for people to see have hope and see the light at the end of the tunnel and guiding them and teaching and I don't know, it's like breathing to me. So yeah, and this is all I started my day in surgery. I had a outpatient surgery procedure where they injected some stuff into my hips, and hey, my military time is catching up with me. So
Oh,
it must have been bad if I allowed them to put some type of medication in my body. But yeah, but quite all right. I finished that, went home, spent a little time with the wife, and ate something, and then haven't eaten again since. But I'll handle that part again too.
all right.
Came
Well,
into the
glad you're.
office and seeing clients, seeing families I get the privilege of serving. So
Well, I know that's going to tie into our conversation this evening, all right,
yeah.
when you're talking about serving others. Last week we were talking about what if you saw what you do or who you are differently, right? We had a phenomenal conversation about our perspective on things, how we see things, how we see ourselves. And you mentioned last week that you wanted to talk about needs. So I'm really, really curious, right? Like normally I'm the one with the questions and the topic, but I'm really excited about what you have to share with us tonight about needs. And so, first, share with the audience what is it about needs, right? Or what came up from our conversation last week that struck or was the catalyst for wanting to talk about needs this week?
Well, I think it was the conversation as it flowed last week. We came to a point where um, I believe these needs play into how you view what you do, right? And sometimes we lean towards one of these needs. And this was, they give him credit. I'm going to give him credit tonight. Mr. Tony Robbins has talked about this for decades now, about psychological needs of what. So many people are probably thinking, what type of need are you talking about, right? Well, we're going to be talking about psychological needs because we all fall into these categories, and it's six of them, and all of us need all of them. We need all of them, but it depends on where you are in your life, which one you're leaning to more, right?
Mm,
So, and what's happening in your life, right? So, that's what prompted it. I can't remember the actual question or what was said in our last talk, but I know something triggered in me. It was like, maybe we need to express needs. Because
mhm.
for me, one thing you don't introduce me as, and I'm okay with, right? I'm in leadership development. My thrive in my body, my fibers of my being, is to get people to see who God created them to be,
Mm,
right? And listen, I still struggle with it for me, right?
right.
But there's this fiber in my being when I know He created you for it now. I'm not saying everybody's supposed to be a millionaire or famous or any of that stuff. No, no, no. And can I be honest with you? Sometimes it's the people who are not famous, or well known who are more important to the world in the grand scheme, in
Yeah.
the whole picture of the thing. In my scriptures, there's a scripture where it says he calls the parts of the body that are unseen to be more important than the parts of the body that are seen. Okay, so I'm one of those parts of the body that's seen, right? I'm a nose or an ear or a mouth, right? Because I make a lot of my money from my mouth. So matter of fact, I enhance the kingdom and advance the kingdom because of my mouth. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, if I was part of the body of Christ, I'm a mouth, right? But then at some points, I'm an arm. Sometimes I'm a finger, right? But in that sense, right, many people view themselves the wrong way. Or they view their purpose, their reasoning for being on the planet, right? So then with that identity, unfortunately, with that identity, they move through life doing everything based on this false identity, right? And sometimes you don't know how to reverse engineer these thoughts, these patterns, why you're that way. One, because you've never been trained to, and two, right? You bought the lie. So it's, my wife would tell you I had bought hundreds of lies. Uh, if I just had, and sometimes my brain still leans towards them, right? So I think it's almost like being an alcoholic. You're actually never recovered. Right? You're on a wagon and you're constantly trying not to
Follow.
yeah. So and I think that's just what's happening. So if you want, I can go through the 6 needs real quick, and then we'll break down each one.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't mind sharing with us,
Okay. So
what
today
are
I
the
actually have notes.
things?
Can you believe this crap? I got notes. No, I just wanted to be, I believe if I'm going to be giving people insight, I need to be prepared. And since
Absolutely.
this was my topic, I couldn't prepare. Because normally it's your topic, and I have no idea what the heck we're going to talk about till we log in. So here we go, right? These 6 needs. Now stay with me. I'm gonna just kind of roll with it, and we're just gonna play with it a little bit, right? Need number one is certainty. Certainty,
No.
right? Matter of fact, let me give you all 6, and then we'll go through them. Certainty, uncertainty or variety, significance. Uh, just in case people are taking notes, I'll slow down a little bit. Connection, or some people would say love and connection. Growth and contribution. I know it sounds weird, but all of us have these 6 needs. All of us. It depends on where you are in your life. Depends on probably what you're going through right now. Hey, sometimes it could depend on things you've been through in your past. Let me start off. Certainty, right? Majida, you're a young lady. Please don't take this wrong. And I'm a little older than you. I'm a few days older than you. So this year I'll be 50 years old. And one of the things I noticed as a child coming up, specifically high school, but even in junior high, specifically in high school, but even in junior high, right? Girls always gravitated towards the bad guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right? But that's not the guy you marry. So I'm gonna put
I'm
number
still
one and number
single.
two together. I'm gonna put number one and number two together, right? The
Mm-hmm.
bad guy is uncertainty, variety, spice. Like what's gonna happen? That's the reason you gravitate to him. You don't know what the hell's gonna happen next, right? Oh my gosh, it's an adventure, right? He rides a motorcycle or some craziness, right? But the guy who you marry is the guy you can trust, the guy who's reliable, the guy that's certainty. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense? Right? So matter of fact, my wife and I, let me use my wife and I don't want to use nobody else. I'm going to use my wife and I, right? So we're not there, but we're building a world-class marriage, world-class relationship. We're intentional about our relationship. It has taken a lot of work. We've been through numerous whatever you're going through in your relationship, we probably went through that. All right. This year will be our 20th year married. So right now we're at 19. September will be 20. And I promise you, we've had some major stuff happen, right? A lot of forgiving, a lot of moving on, right? So we've been intentional about that, right? And my wife will even tell you one of the things she can count on with me is I'm certain, right? I'm the guy you can trust. I'm loyal to a fault. I hurt myself. I'm probably so loyal, right? So that, but so if you come in and pull a wife or a husband to the side who already have a world class marriage, you admire them from far, right? So act like you would approach Yabby and I and say, "Yo, what's missing in your marriage?" Both of us would probably say spontaneity or variety, right? Because seriously, married people for some reason end up in a rut, and if you don't watch it, you're just going through the motions, right? And
Yeah.
that's why I say Yabby and I are very intentional because I still date her. I do what I can to date her, to learn her. 20 years together, 2021 together soon. April will be 21 together. She's changed. She's evolved. I'm not even married to the same woman that I walked down the
Mhm.
aisle with. Yeah, two totally different people now. Right? It's almost like I got scammed. Right? And then she has a sister that owns a hair salon. So guess what? That changes all the time too, right? Her haircut. She just changed her hair color. Right? So it's like, dang, I bought I bought one product, but the product keep changing. I ain't asked the product to change, right? That's that variety. That's that uncertainty, right? And
Mhm.
people want, listen, I'm talking about it in a relationship, but sometimes you want it in all kinds of things. I like my career. You know why I like my career as a financial professional? Some people would think it's boring and it's about numbers. I wish people would stop thinking that we do numbers. We don't really do numbers. We do strategy, right? That creates variety for me. Some of
Yeah.
us out in front of, I had to figure out based on their goals, and some people have some very specific goals. I had to figure out what's going to get them there. And I got to talk about, and here's the other one. This is why it's variety. They're different. They're different, which means I have to communicate the message differently to each husband and wife, but they're different from the client I saw the hour before. That's
Yeah.
variety for me, man. It's almost like a challenge. If you, it was like, okay,
Yeah.
how am I gonna get this? How am I gonna get them to get it? Right? And it's not even for me; it's for them. Right? No, no offense to any of my clients who might be watching this, or the families I get to serve, but if they don't get it, that doesn't really affect me. That affects them. It doesn't hurt me. It
Right.
hurts them long term. So, and I love doing it. I love seeing the light bulb go off. Matter of fact, I remember that when I first met the wife, we were at a thing at someone's house, and I was explaining something, and it was almost like it was a cartoon. I literally saw a light bulb go off over her head when she finally got what I was talking about. And I'm pretty good at explaining things in a very Barney type style, right? When she got it, and apparently some other people had tried to explain this concept that I was talking about numerous times to her husband, her circle, right? She got it, and I don't know if it was better that she got it or that I saw that light bulb. I don't know which
Mhm.
feeling was better. It was just so freaking, because I felt after that I was like, if I pass away tonight, they're gonna be okay,
Mm.
and that just felt good to me. Like if God take me
Yeah.
out tonight, He's got nothing else for me to do tomorrow, so He brings me home. First of all, I'm gonna be freaking excited to be home, but second, they'll be okay, and that's how I feel about all the families I serve. Right? So when it comes to certainty, we all need some certainty. Let me give you an example. Why do people stay at jobs they hate? Certainty. I know that sounds crazy, right? Yes.
Yeah.
They stay at jobs they can't stand because they know they're getting a paycheck in 15 days, right? Or in 2 weeks, whatever it is, right? They know they're getting that paycheck. That's why they do it. Why? Why do people most people don't take any risk? I mean, other than the risk of you just driving your car and right going on a roller coaster or something like that, right? But most people never take a risk. Certainty. Okay, why do guys like me take a risk? Why would I go jump out of perfectly good airplanes and now pay somebody for it? Uncertainty. Even though I'm more certain in that than I am uncertain, but somebody who's never done it, that's uncertainty, right?
All right.
We like my wife and I. Why do my wife and I don't like to go to the same restaurants all the time? Variety, right? I like
Yeah.
mom and pops, small business owners. For some reason, for me, it just feels like they care about what they're doing. It's like their
Hmm.
name's on the outside, so they're like, this has to work, right? You go to a big, no offense, but you go to a big place like a Cheesecake Factory, or you go to, right, PF Chang's or something like that. Their name is on the door, and you can
Hmm.
kind of tell by the way they move. You can kind of, don't get me wrong, I've had some great service. I normally have great service everywhere I go because I treat people with respect. I learn our servers' names, and right, I converse with them, so that they take very good care of us. Many of them hate to see us go because we bring a level of calm to their what they're doing, even in the chaos. But the facts are is they don't operate it like they own it, right? And that's one of the reasons I like that. So in my phone, we have gobs of locations, and the cool thing is it ties to my locator, if you will. So I could literally just hit the app, it opens up, and it'll tell me the places that I've saved that's nearby. It'll tell me the number of miles it is from me. Actually, Google Maps will do that for you too, right? Certainty, uncertainty. That's how that goes, right? Now let's talk about significance, right? I've always said for a long time anyway. Maybe I can't say always. Um, People want to feel significant, right? What we see in our eyes, we see people chasing after success, right? But there's successful people with no friends. There's successful people with a very unhappy marriage, right? Not great relationships with their children, right? Don't get me wrong, I live to try to help people become successful, right? But what's more important is significance, right? Your life mattering, and people want to know their life mattered, that they made an impact, that they that because they walk the planet, the planet is better, right? Even the person who tries to act like that's not important to them, it's in them. It's in
Yeah.
them that to be significant, right? And some people are simple. They just want to be significant in one person's life. Okay, that's cool. Um, I've said this years ago. So I in my significance journey, in my significance chase, I guess you will say, right? When I pass away, I want a whole bunch of people crying. It sounds selfish, right? But what
Hmm.
that means is I made an impact on that many people. One, I want them excited for me that now I'm home with my father. I'm home with my heavenly father. And so I don't want a funeral. I don't want to. I want a celebration. I want you guys partying after I'm gone. Okay. But also they won't be able to have those conversations with me again. They won't be able to call me. You know, for some reason I get this call a lot when the crap hits the fan in their marriage or in their relationship with their child. I get that call a lot. But it's cool to be able to. First of all, it's cool to have guys. Men don't open up to many people, and it's really cool to have other men who will reach out to this man and do that with them. And they know it's a safe place. I'm not going to look at them any different. I'm not going to judge them, if you will. I'm going to hold them accountable, but I ain't going to judge them because we all screw it up. We all fall. We all scrape our knee, right? And they know I'll pick them up and dust them off. It's really cool. That's part of my significance journey, right? I remember one time I was speaking somewhere. I can't remember where it was. So for time, I'm not going to keep going. But I was speaking somewhere, and a wife a wife of a young man who I didn't have to, but I felt I needed to. I got very blunt and straight with him in reference to his marriage and how he was speaking of his wife. I had never met the wife. I had never met the wife. So this was in Virginia Beach, where I lived, the conversation I had with this guy. Fast forward, it had to be at least 3 to 5 years, right? I'm speaking, this lady comes up and says, right, she says, hey, I know you. And I'm very good at remembering faces. I might not remember your name, but I'll remember your face. And I was like, really? So where do you know me from? And I start naming places. She's like, no, 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 no. I've never met you, but you sat with my husband. You said some choice words to him. She literally had to spend like 5 minutes to help me remember who the guy was, because I never saw him again. Right. But apparently, whatever I said in that meeting with him, right, and me and him never saw each other again. I kind of knew he wasn't gonna come back and see me again. Some people don't like to be told it, but apparently, whatever I told him, he had started implementing, and he was giving me credit. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And she was like, "No, like our marriage totally turned around within months of that conversation with you." And I was like, and
Wow.
it was like, how do you even respond to something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I and some people say, "Oh, he's just a jerk." No, I care. And unfortunately, we live in a world today where nobody cares. Let me tell you what I mean by no one cares. They will allow you to, your friends, your family will allow you to keep making the same stupid mistakes, choices, saying the same stupid stuff, or thinking the same stupid stuff to and not correct you to because they don't want to risk your affection.
Mm-hmm.
And you've heard me say many times, my friends and family love me for who I am. My mentor loved me too much to leave me the way I was. So Carlton McLeod has said some pretty interesting things to me, but I needed it. Right? It was a man. Don't converse with him much anymore. But it was another guy named Dennis Meeks who used to say some stuff. A guy named Daryl Moore. I still converse with a guy named Derek Collier. Now I'm a lot cleaner. You know, I'm a little bit refiner product now. So those type of conversations almost never happen with me now. But now I'm doing it for other people. That's significance, right? So
Yeah.
in your world, what's significance to you? How are you making an impact? Matter of fact, let me bring that on. Connection. I get to connect, love and connection. Unfortunately, some people have connect love and connection with performing. Because as a child, I'm lucky that my daughter does not feel this way. But I know as a young man, growing up young, right? When a guy hits a home run or he scores a touchdown or he wins the game winning shot in a basketball game or whatever the case may be, that's my world, right? Is we would get some applause, great job, you know, that type of deal. You know, in other facets, it's great grades in school, or you know, my daughter just got straight A's again, which is totally crazy to us. Like we're like, first of all, I'm her dad and her mom. Okay, yeah, it smart skipped the generation and went straight to Jesse. And here's the funny thing: she hates school, like hates school with a passion. Yet straight A's. We get the report,
Mm.
straight A's. We're like, I mean, how do you get 100? Not 98, not 100. She got several classes 100. Like what? Like what? What, they only had one assignment? Like what the heck? That's our kid, right? But many kids in our world connect, right? They connect love and affection, right? That connection with performing. I don't agree with that. It shouldn't be that. I want my daughter to know she's loved beyond of what she performs in such a way, right? Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. We got a standard, and I think that's why I think our standard and our core values is why she lives up to that straight A, and I mean, she gets pissed off if it drops to a B. She gets. Actually, I probably need to calm her down there, right? But I think what's in her, she knows she's capable.
Yeah.
See, it'd be different if your kids were getting C's and you know they gave it their all. Man, that's all you can ask. You need to applaud
Yeah.
those C's, man. Man, because they gave it their all. Their capacity was that. That's awesome. Man, if you don't give your kid props, I will. Right? Whoever's listening to me, I will, man. Freaking awesome, man. Go for it. You did it. Right? Now, some people are like, see, they did it. If it was to their capacity, right? And I believe in certain areas of life, all of us are like that. Right?
Average, yeah.
Jesse's not excited about trigonometry, right?
I
So
love trigonometry. I wrote a
see,
paper on it.
see what I'm saying? Or algebra, right? When she was homeschooled, she kind of struggled with algebra 2, I think it is, right? So, but if her capacity was just a B, I'm still gonna applaud that B like it was an A, because she gave me her all. Now if she slacks, that's not gonna
Yeah.
no, that's not gonna fly. Right? But I don't want her to feel love and connection from that. But that's how people are, and they, believe it or not, that's a need. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're listening to me, you have people that work for you, believe it or not, that's a need for some of your employees. I have to remember that as being an entrepreneur, training other entrepreneurs, that's a need for them. That they need an
Mm.
applause when something like that, but also connection, right? I think I'm pretty good at connection. One of my buddies last night, we were at a men's group thing, and one of the questions that was going around all the guys was, how do you rank? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rank? I guess your relationships, right? We went through work and relationships and stuff like that. And before I even started, he got to me, and then before I even started, he said, "You're like an 11." And I was like, "Bro, you know I'm an introvert." Right? And it's because I'm intentional. I figured out a long time ago the most important thing in my life is my relationship with God and my relationships with other people. That's it.
Yeah.
Not a religion. It's my relationship with Christ. So because of that, and mind you, I get beat up and I get stabbed in the back and stuff like that. I had to continue to remind myself, because I'm going to show you guys something funny if it's okay. My wife texts my daughter and I. This is gonna look bad, but hopefully you don't judge us, okay? So my wife was driving home last night, and apparently at the light, she pulls up to somebody, and this is their license plate. So my wife, in her wit, decides to pull up her phone, take a picture of that, and send it to my daughter and I.
Yeah.
Because we have this like running joke in our house. Man, I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this to you, but we have this running joke where we go, people, they're the worst. Because all of us are introverts in my house. All of us are introverts. So it's like, but we can't be that. It's inappropriate for us to be that. It's inappropriate for me to be shy. It's inappropriate because I have something that can help people. And if I can't get to them, I can't help them.
Yeah.
So quite some time ago, probably 2005 time frame, that shifted in me. And it was like, John, you're not allowed to be shy. You're not allowed to be, I'm not shy, but I'm not allowed to be my introverted. I have to go against the grain of my fiber. I have to.
Your preference.
Yeah, get out. My preference is to. I'm probably one of the weirdest guys, man. I have no problem going into a restaurant, getting a table for one, sitting down, eating. My wife jokes me because there was a movie theater here recently closed, but there would be easily she'll look on her phone looking at my location, and I would be in the movie theater by myself on a Thursday afternoon at a Thursday morning at 11:30, watching some movie by myself. They say, "You're so crazy." I'm like, I'm comfortable
Why
with
not?
me. But here's the other thing:
Yeah.
I've dated me. I fell in love with me some time ago. I dated me. And many people, matter of fact, I think I'm saying this to you. You need to get to know you. Many people are looking for something, but they don't know them yet.
Yeah.
And I learned to date me, fall in love with me, become smitten, if you will, with me. Still not there, but I know me, right? Where are we at? Connection? Okay, connection. Growth. This is going to sound weird, okay? Because if you look around our world, many people aren't growing mentally, emotionally. They're growing physically, right? We're an obese nation, but they're not growing, and I really believe it's because they're not focused on it. They're growing on accident instead of on purpose. As you know, one of my core values is intentional growth. Right. So before I hit the hay tonight, right, I got a book that me and that group of guys are reading called Wild at Heart, and I got to get 10 pages in. Right. It's just part of the deal, I guess you would say. One, I want to be prepared to contribute next week when we get together next Monday, but also, and mind you, I read this book 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, probably over 10 years ago. But I'm rereading it and getting a whole nother perspective, because over the years I've grown, so my perspective has grown. We all have a need of growing, of feeling growth, progress does something to you. It makes you feel a certain way, right? And that's why some people love being in jobs, careers where there's an opportunity to grow, right?
Right.
And then people who are in careers and jobs that don't have that opportunity, that's the people who feel like they're in a rut. Actually, that's actually when you start dreading your job. If your job is always moving, if your job has certainty, your career, whatever, has certainty, but it also has variety, the uncertainty, but then it also has connections, like you really vibe with the people you hang with and
Yeah.
work with, and y'all even go hang out outside of the work, and right, that type of stuff. You actually get accolades. You actually get somebody to say, "Man, freaking great job," and right, connection, significance. You, if your job got all of that, you ain't even thinking about leaving.
Yeah. You're not
And
dissatisfied.
it has growth, and there's opportunity to grow, right? Even though you got to
Hmm.
step out your comfort zone a little bit to grow, but if everybody in the environment is growing, that's actually why you see a lot of IT type companies, Google, Amazon, because they've embedded growing in the organization.
Culture. Yeah.
It's part of the culture. It's part of the. I know a church in California, Rick Warren's church, Saddleback Church, right? They don't believe in coming to meetings. They don't believe in not failing. We're gonna try it. Let's fail, right? How do you grow? By some failures. You figure out what
Yeah.
don't work, right? So you find somebody who's in a career that gets all of these five. How many we gone through so far? Five needs so far.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, they ain't even thinking about leaving, right? And then a lot of times they'll leave. Normally, when they leave, they're leaving for more money. You already got all five of those connections. You already got all five of those needs, right? And then some company come along. You don't know what their culture is like over there, but you leave mainly because they offered you more money. And normally, what I notice is those people hate the fact that they left this for money. They rather go back, make less, and have that.
It makes
Isn't that
sense. It
awesome?
makes sense.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
That is.
And sometimes people just don't get the growth factor. But I believe you can create it. No matter what job you're in, no matter what career you're in, I believe you can create it. If you're a pastor of a church, if you're a deacon of a church, or you're just a layman at your church, if you're an attorney, if you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, if you're a school teacher, I think all of these take some work on your part. I don't think they should be just there. I think there should be some things you got to do to make this stuff work. And the last one is contribution. I think everybody wants to make a difference. Everybody wants to make a difference in the world. Matter of fact, I'm noticing a lot of people vote in a way where they think they're making a difference, right? So they vote for or against someone because they feel they're going to make a difference in the lives of other people. Everybody has that. Everybody wants to make a contribution to our world, make the world a better place, and be involved in something bigger than them. I think I'm right there. Everybody wants to be involved. Even the most shy, introverted person wants to. They just want to be a part of something bigger than them. Um, yeah, it's a lot of arrogant people walking the planet, but they all want to make a contribution. So I think those. Well, that's my spiel on the six needs. I mean, I trust me, I could go. This could be a dissertation, but I could preach a sermon on this. But I think if you know those, if you know the six needs, check this out. If you know the six needs, you can guide and lead people better, right? Because then you figure out what's important to them. It's almost like a love language to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I read Gary Chapman's book Love Languages, the five love languages. Man, that was life changing because and the biggest part of what I learned wasn't actually the languages, although they were important. Is that when it comes to love languages, similar to these needs, if you don't be careful, you'll speak your language instead of their language. Like I had to learn that my wife's love of my daughter, that was a little bit harder. That my daughter's love language was this. And like I know people who their love language is gifts, right? So they're always giving gifts, right? But they don't realize the person who you're giving the gift to, that's not even important to them, right? Theirs is quality time. So they didn't want you to drop off a gift. They want you to come and spend an hour with them, right? So in my relationship with my wife, but of course also my daughters, I got an adopted one who lives in San Diego, and I had to learn when she lived with us what her love language was. And here's the funny thing: your love languages change. That's
Very
frustrating.
true.
That's frustrating. Right? Because there was a time when my wife's love language was not physical touch. Like she didn't need a hug. She didn't need a right. She wanted one from me, but it wasn't like stay on her. Right? Not at all. Now, yeah, physical touch.
Mm.
Her love languages have changed, man. Before it was like mine, acts of service. Yeah, don't do nothing else. Just do something. Wash the dishes. Right, make the bed. Right, that's you showing love to me. Right, and
Yeah.
hers was the same. So it was really cool. So now, man, I could go in the kitchen and wash the dishes. I'm husband of the year, man. Or I could take the initiative and fold her clothes. Oh my gosh, I'm the man, right? Yeah, we don't care about that. Now it's physical touch. She want me to sit on the couch with her, put her feet underneath my legs, and and me, I just want you to go fix my plate. But those needs, if you understand them, you can lead better. You can do better. You can connect with people better. But all of this wraps up. I'm gonna say this and end with it. Right. All of this is wrapped around love. You won't even take the effort of learning this stuff if you don't care. That's just the facts. There's no way around it. There's
Mm.
I've said for years that whatever gift God didn't give me, He placed in somebody near me. But love is the secret key to that treasure. I'm not going to get that treasure unless there's some love exchanged. right? Genuine love, not just lip service, right? But you operate in a way that people know you love them, right? Even if, like, I'm tough on some people in my sphere of influence, and I'm pretty certain they know I love them, though. So hopefully that
Good.
helps somebody. I don't know.
No, that was awesome, John. I had a quick question. So, how do you know when to, I guess, separate, right, yourself? I had a situation I was going through recently,
Mm-hmm.
and I made a decision to step away because I felt like I couldn't help this individual. Like I don't feel like I was in the best position to serve them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like I stayed with them longer than I needed to, or that I should have,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to contribute, because I wanted um, to help or serve in some way. And what you mentioned earlier, I wasn't doing it for the money, right? Like there was some financial um, aspect to it, or part of the arrangement, but like that wasn't even of interest to me. Like I was looking at, okay, I can learn, I can grow, and I can contribute and be of significance. But my value system at the end of the day is really what caused me to make the decision to step away, because our values weren't aligned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like I would be compromising my values, trying to contribute. And so, when is it, making the decision to, all right, I can help this person, but one, that they gotta want the help, and two, like if our values are misaligned, I could be compromising my values trying to help this other person. So how can you make the decision there to, like, all right, I'm seeking growth and contribution and all those things. However, is this the relationship, or is this the connection that
Mm-hmm.
will afford me that? So could you speak to that a little bit before we hop off?
Absolutely. Your value system is developed, right? We're not born with it. It's
Hmm.
developed. We're born in sin. We all have a mean streak, and right where we could be pretty nasty to others and do some horrible stuff, and then over time you develop a value system, and then it just becomes part of your worth, right? And someone taught me years ago, there's a thin line between loyalty and integrity, right? You sticking around past your values, you this is my value is I want to be a loyal person,
Yeah.
right? That's my value. Okay. But then when it starts messing with my integrity, now that's not healthy.
Yeah.
So in all honesty, you answered your own question. As soon as you saw your values weren't aligned, it's now time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now here's the tough part about that. Many people confuse uh, values with strategy, values with path. And let me tell you what I mean. This is gonna sound really. I'll go into this part because I know many people don't. It's taboo to talk like this, right? I look at our political world, right, and in the United States we have this two-party system.
Hmm.
I believe both of them have the same value. I think everybody wants their family better. They want things done, right? What separates them is the strategy and how to get it done, right? Matter of fact, I say this in my faith. It's many religions, denominations, or whatever you want to say, that it's some core things that they don't believe, right? But when you look at the surface stuff, they have the same values, right? They just want their families better. They want healthy families. They want safety. They want, I think, the same way when it comes to politics stuff too, right? So we got the Republicans thinking some way, and we got the Democrats thinking one way. Um, but if you clear all the the stuff, it's the exact same stuff. They want the same thing, but how to get there is where they don't agree.
Gotcha.
And that can really, you can lose out on some great relationships and things like that just because you think you know something. You think, like I noticed in this culture today, that if somebody does one thing, we think we know them, and that's so weird to me because and you know, and don't get me wrong, I've had people kind of, I guess you would say, counsel me in that sense. But I think one of the things that pride me the most is I've had people who they don't agree with me on this area, but they know I love them. They don't agree with me on this, but they know I'll fight for them. They know I'll take a bullet for them. They know I'll, right, some crap hit the fan, I'll show up to their house with my AR-15, and we're gonna do battle together, arm in arm, right? On that topic, we just won't touch that topic, right? And then we only converse about it if we feel that a healthy exchange is going to happen. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like, some people I wouldn't exchange with on that because they just have a council type mindset. And unfortunately, I've seen this in my relationship in the church before too. Like, some big pastor falls and everybody's demeaning him. So forget all the good he did. It's like, and I think Zig Ziglar said that years ago. It take a million years to build a great reputation, and take seconds to destroy it. It's so weird to me, right? And I think that way because I know I'm still flawed myself anyway. So it's hard
Yeah.
for me to hold you accountable, or no, I can hold you accountable. It's hard for me to say you're just a horrible person. And somebody texted me Sunday, just thanking me for never giving up on them, and that felt good. But what he didn't know is it was some men and women who didn't give up on me. So it'd be irresponsible and kind of just horrible for me to give up on somebody. So yeah, you said it yourself. When you guys values didn't line up anymore, but you got to make sure it's a value thing. Sometimes it's just an opinion. It's not a value. Values become part of your DNA, right? An opinion that can be changed. Right? Remember a couple weeks ago on this call, on this talk, I asked, when was the last time you changed your mind?
Yeah.
Right? That's about opinions, right? And if somebody comes to me with an articulate enough, not argument, but reasoning and facts. Please don't come with me with propaganda, but facts, and right, whether it be heck anything, right? I wouldn't have the relationship I have with one of my mentors today had I not been open to my mind being changed. But you know, I gotta credit him. His mind was open too.
Mm-hmm.
He never pushed my wife and I away when we were challenging some of his teaching. Never did it, and we did it for like a year. Every Sunday we were challenging something he had said. But the cool thing was over those, it was like a lot of topics, but over time he changed his mind, and we definitely changed ours.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, we got a great relationship. You know, it's just something, you know, but if you're not willing to change your mind, you think you're right all the time, why would anybody want to talk to you? Yeah. So sometimes when people call me and ask me something, right, and it's not a value thing, it's an opinion thing, right? But if somebody called me and asked me something, one of the first things I ask them is, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? Because if you're not open to get your viewpoint change, your perspective shift, I don't think we should even indulge in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what that does is it preserves relationships. Now, if they decide to go think on their own, like they already know what I think, that's on you. What somebody think about me is none of my business. That's on you. But you'll be shocked most of the time when it comes to me. You think you know. And because of these 6 needs, I'm free. These 6 needs make you liberated. Once you know them, it liberated me. My relationship with Christ made me liberated. It's a bunch of people in the religious world who they're just trying to follow rules.
Hmm.
And once I've created a relationship with Christ, I don't have any rules. I do things and don't do things because of my love for Him. That's it. There's no rules. I don't have any rules. I got some standards. That's it.
And I think
So
that's probably where, yeah, there's a point of contention. It's standards, right?
it's standards.
It's yeah.
And what I learned in leadership, because of course I get a lot of people mad at me because that's just part of leadership, right? And what I had to learn, actually, the same guy I'm talking about taught me this. He taught my wife, and I heard it, so I got the remnants of it. Um, people aren't afraid. People aren't mad at me. They're mad at the standard
Mm,
because I hold the standard, right? So they're not mad at me. They're mad at the standard.
makes sense.
Yeah, and that's whether it be your faith, that's marriages, relationships, whatever. When you have a standard, people get upset with you that you won't bend your standard. You won't lower your standard for them. So they're not mad at you. They're mad at the standard. Hopefully this was of some value.
Absolutely. I'm sure our audience, got some value out of the conversation tonight. I definitely appreciate you bringing that insight about these different needs. So, hey, if you want, do you know where did I know you said Tony Robbins is giving credit for it, but is there a
Yeah.
resource or book that you can read up
Man,
more on
Google it.
these?
Google 6 basic needs.
Okay,
6 basic human needs. 6 basic human needs.
got
Right?
it.
Tony Robbins uses it as a way to influence your team for success.
Mm-hmm.
Influence people for success. Right? How can you help people if you don't know them? If you don't know what their dominant need is, you can't help
Yeah.
them. Jesus always helped people with their felt need before he talked to them about their unfelt need. Right? They were hungry, he fed them. Then he talked to them about right. They were blind, they needed to be healed. Oh, yeah. Then he talked to them about the same thing. Yeah, but if you just Google 6 human needs, I promise you, you'll find it.
Awesome. Awesome.
And there's some
Well,
really good commentaries on them too. If I recall correctly, there's one place I can't remember which one it is now. Never mind. Sorry.
no, I appreciate you bringing this insight tonight and sharing that. And it definitely gave me some things to think about as well in terms of um, not values so much, but like you said, it's strategy. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to reflect on that a little bit more. Because I know for myself, I'm quick to like just dismiss people. If we don't agree, all right.
Right. Yeah.
Keep it, but I like certainty, right? Like certainties
Yes,
top
you
of
do.
and so um I like a little variety, but I like to decide when I get the variety. I don't like it all the
Right.
time.
Right. So you even like certainty in your variety.
Absolutely. I like scheduled variety or
Yep. 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 So you're one of those people who plan it. They plan everything, right? And some people like that because they just don't. The reason they like doing that is because they're risk adverse. They just don't. They're risk. They don't like taking risks too much, right? But
and it's
also
crazy too, because
you just like
my
to know
friends
what
would
what
say
it's gonna be like, huh?
well, my friends would probably consider me the most. I'm like the I take the most risk
You do,
in terms
but you planned
of
it out. It looks like risk to them,
yeah,
but,
yeah,
but you strategized it.
somewhat. I think it's more so growth, right? Like I'm so intentional about
Yes,
growing
yes.
that
But
I'll
you've
take
been like
certain
that for
risks
a long
to
time.
grow. Yeah.
You have been
I'll
like
take
that for
certain
a
risks to
long
grow.
time. Yeah. Like if you had to pick one of my six core values, yours is intentional growth. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, you're worse than us. Easily.
I
Easily.
don't know.
No, you I mean, I think of all the different things you do to make sure that you're growing, things you put yourself involved in, come out your comfort zone to be in part of groups. I commend you a great deal. Oh my gosh. Like, matter of fact, it has been for years, but even early in my career, I wouldn't go to networking events outside of
Mm.
my comfort zone, right? But now I don't have to, but but I ain't go to networking events, man. I gotta talk to people, right? And it's easier to talk to people in your house. This is my house.
Mhm.
This is my world, right? In a very short order, you'll figure out that I know what I'm talking about. So then you want to listen. But when you're in a room full of strangers, there's a bunch of them, and right, it's 9, 10 of you. Now you got to figure out, okay, what makes me stand out? What makes me different? Yeah, seems so draining, right? But somebody who's involved, someone who thinks about intentional growth does that anyway,
Mhm.
and that's you for sure. I don't wonder that.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yep.
I'll,
So,
I'll work on the variety. I'll schedule it. Yeah. Once a quarter, we'll have some variety.
yes.
Once a month, we'll do something out of the norm.
And I know you have a need for significance. We've talked about that a great deal.
Oh yeah,
Love and
for
connection.
sure.
Actually, I believe our relationship is love and connection. Your relationship, your children's relationship with my wife and I, is part of that love and connection part.
Hmm.
We already talked about your growth deal. Oh my gosh. And
Yeah,
contribution. A lot of the moves you make is because of your need to contribute.
yeah,
I mean, you just said it with whoever this person is or whoever this group
right.
is, that you felt you could stay because you knew you could contribute. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
but
be
I'm
careful
working
that,
on.
yeah, your values are your authentic self. So
Yeah.
don't go outside of your authentic self.
Well,
And
maybe
definitely
next week
don't.
we can talk
Okay.
about boundaries because it's one thing to have these needs met. But what I'm learning, what I'm being more intentional about, like I say yes to everything or a lot of things because I can contribute, I can grow, I can find connection, I can be significant. There's some variety, right? And because
Okay.
I think I have so much certainty in my life, like I seek out the other stuff, you know, so, but being able to set boundaries and saying like, all right, you can't do everything for everybody. Like, so I'm definitely in this mode right now where I'm doing a lot of reflecting. I'm doing a lot of self assessing to
Mm-hmm.
figure out like what are my preferences, what
Mm-hmm.
are the things that I want, what are the goals that I want to meet for myself, and getting really clear on that so that my moves going forward are more intentional, right? So maybe next week we can talk about boundaries
Yeah.
and how
Maybe
to.
I think we can talk about boundaries in a healthy way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I love these needs because the platform we're with, right? WFG, Transamerica World Financial Group. We can people come affiliated with us. They can meet all these needs can be met at the same time at the same place.
Yeah.
All these needs, right? I'm noticing, especially now, next month. Excuse me. Oh my God, I just said next month. This month, the 23rd of this month, will be my 20-year anniversary with World Financial Group, Transamerica.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, I'm noticing clients look at me differently because I've been here so long. What is that? That's the need for certainty.
Yep.
And then they hear how big we are now and how strong we are, and that's people need to know that, right? people get involved with our company because of the uncertainty to a degree, the variety of being able to meet new people and different cultures and right. Like I work with a Vietnamese guy every day, and I got a bunch of Filipino clients, and actually I got clients from all every pick something right. I got Filipino, Hispanic, black, white, like pick it. I got all of it, right? Variety. You get to meet so many different cultures and people, and it's really cool when they invite you over for dinner and for a cookout or something, a potluck, because you don't know what you're eating. Like, yeah, I go to my Ethiopian family, right? And
Mm.
they've put all the food on this thing, and you're sitting down and you're using your hands. And this was pre-COVID. I don't know what they're doing now, but but that's how we ate. It was like it was really cool. My wife liked that stuff. I've eaten some of the hottest stuff I've ever eaten from Ethiopians and Nigerians, but that's the uncertainty, right? Being able to be a part of
Right.
their life is the significance, the connection, right? My clients are like family to me, and then we all grow together as they're learning. They need new things. I have to learn, right? It feels good to contribute. Yeah, and they do call on me to contribute in other ways. So yeah,
Good
whether it's
stuff.
buying some candy from their children's school thing, or speaking at their churches. Some of them have had me speak at their churches or synagogues, if you will, and pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be able to contribute that way, right? And I love the fact that they never asked me to be someone I'm not.
Mm. That's
Right?
important.
I remember one saying, "We invited you because of you." I never forgot that. It was like,
Mm.
okay, all right, because I was walking into a. At that time, it was different for me. Now it's normal, right? But you walk into a room that everybody don't look like you. They don't come from where you come from, and you're the keynote. It makes you nervous. It really does. It really makes you nervous to a degree. Like, man, can I say that? Will that joke go over well? But it's really cool that I just go in there and flow. And I know my audience. My wife talked about that once. That I think I had to speak at like 2 or 3 things in one day, and there were 3 totally different things, like to- in eclectic groups. And at the end, she was like, "Man, you really know your audience because you knew you couldn't do that in this one, but you did it in that one." And I think it's just a gift. Yeah.
Good
So
deal.
let's talk about boundaries next week. This would be interesting.
I like it. Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you ready? Are you ready to talk about boundaries?
I will be. Maybe we can help some other folks. I'm sure I'm not the only person who has a challenge with setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Because we want to be helpful and significant and contribute and all those things. So um, I think that's important to be able to establish healthy boundaries. And
Yes.
yeah, we
Yes.
can talk about that. And y'all thought that we were just financial professionals, right? This is more than just finance. I love what you said earlier, leading people to become who they were created to be, right? Like leadership development. And I think that's a really the focus. I see myself this year being able to transition because I see being able to contribute even more and being of more significance because of relationships that I'm developing with my clients and with other people. I love the fact that people call me and if I don't know the answer, they know that I can find it out, but they trust me to get that information for them. And so being able to be in a space where like you're trusted, you're appreciated, you're respected,
Yeah.
it touches on all of those needs. And so I think I'm getting a deeper desire to right. Like I'm okay with letting go some of the certainty to have some of those other needs met. So I'm
Good.
pretty
Good.
excited
Good.
about that.
That's good.
So thank you for sharing that with us tonight, John. Hey, for those that are tuning in, thank you for listening. We hope you got a lot of value out of the conversation. And tune in next week. We're going to be talking about boundaries. And so hopefully the information that you got tonight, you'll give you some things to think about, to reflect on, to help you improve your life and to improve who you are and who you want to become. And
Yeah.
we thank you, John, for bringing your insight as just a wealth of knowledge always that you bring to the table,
Thank you.
to this audience and even for me. So I appreciate you being able to give me some things to think about as well. So thank you all. Have a great night, and we'll see you all next week.
All right. Have a great night, everyone.